So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have the Mubview Smart Video Doorbell. Now as for the model number, it's going to be called the Bell J7. I don't want you guys to accidentally mix it up with another product and order the wrong thing. Now it does have mobile app, which I'm going to show you how to use. 2.4 gigahertz in terms of Wi-Fi, motion sensor, voice changer, IP66 for the people out there that's wondering, hey, can this go into the elements? Yes, it can. As long as you keep the flaps closed so that nothing gets inside of those, you should be perfectly fine with that. You have battery powered. Thank God. Some cameras actually do take batteries, like regular batteries, and I'm like, that's not for me. I'm going to need to charge this bad boy up. It does have day and night and two-way talk. Now, just so you guys know, if you're using the application and you're wondering what the battery life is, the app itself, which I'm going to show you in real time, is going to show you how charged it is. Now, for the people that have no patience, descriptions are in the, if you look in the description, you'll see the timestamps. With that being said, let's get right into this review and waste no more time. So this is going to be everything that actually comes inside of the box. You have your actual doorbell itself. You have the chime, which will need to be paired to the doorbell, just let you guys know ahead of time. And I will walk you through every step, so don't worry. I'm not going to leave you hanging. It's going to be a little long video, but once we're done this, you're going to have everything set up easily. You're going to have your user manual. It does come with batteries, but I already took them out and placed them in the back of the chime. Now you may be wondering whether this piece can be charged itself. You have two options. You either use a AAA battery. Are they AAA? Just double check, make sure. 3 AA batteries, sorry, and that will keep this charged until it dies. Or you do have the option to plug this up to an actual wall outlet. But if you do that, unfortunately, this chime is going to have to sit in one spot. Personally, when I did use it, because I did test this out, I had the chime move around based on where I was so that I can hear everything going on if someone wanted to hit the doorbell. But I don't get many visitors, but I will show you how to use it regardless. Now, with that being said, you do have this. You have your micro USB, which is inside. You have your tool to actually screw these nails into a wall if need be, because if you remember, this actually comes off. This is the mount itself for the actual camera. So you would just put the nails inside, screw them into a wall, or drill them to the wall, whatever's easier for you. Be mindful, if you're paying for an apartment, you may have to do it a different way. And with that being said, it does come with these strips. I'm going to show you this. These 2 strips right here, which are strong enough to fit on the back of this if need be, but realistically, drilling them into the wall is the smartest choice to do. In addition to that, it comes with a screw on the bottom, so you can keep this plugged in at all times so someone can't just rip your camera out of the wall. Now, it does also have a trigger on the back, which will take a photo or video of the person that has the camera in their hand for legal reasons in case they try to steal your product, and then you'll know for a fact who it actually is. Now, with that being said, there are many features to this that I think you guys are going to like, but let me just show you the doorbell real fast. Actually, I'll show you this first, the chime. If you look at these 3 buttons, I'm going to tell you what each one of them do. The first one is a ringtone button. You may not be able to see it because of the quality of my camera, but this guy here gives you 4 options to ringtones. The second one will, I believe you have like 4 volume settings. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you right now in the instructions so you know exactly what it is I'm talking about. You see, where are we? Chime. Here we go. So this is the volume right here, the chime volume right here, the middle button. And the last button to the right, if you hold it or press it, will put it in pairing mode. If you hold it for 5 seconds, it'll factory restore it. If you click it, it'll actually put this in pairing mode because this needs to be synced to the actual camera itself in order so you can talk through it. Now, with that being said, like I said, it's going to be a very easy process. I know a lot of people think this might be more difficult than it is, but it actually isn't. Right here, once you take this off, this is where the charger goes for the actual. Here we go. Let me do that for you real fast. I know I stopped talking about it. I just want to show you guys that. So it's a micro USB right here. That's what you'll be using to actually charge this up. Now, just so you know, when you first take it out of the box, I had about 45% or so. Make sure that you fully charge it when you first use it. I've actually used this for quite a few days now, and it's been surviving just fine. I don't know the full battery life from 0 to 100, but I'll see if I can get that before I end this video for the, is it worth purchasing section of this video. On the flip side over here, which is literally the flip side, what we'll see right here is the on off button right here. This is the switch. We have down here is the reset button, which you will require to press that button in when you're syncing it to the application. And below that, we have the SD card right here, which, like I always say to people, there's nothing wrong with having an SD card. You should have one inside of these types of apparatuses, these type of devices. But keep in mind that having the online storage is always going to be a better option, because if something is stolen, you still have the actual footage of said product. So if something happens outside of your door, you got options to make sure that you are protected. And you can, sometimes this could be used as a police device. It really depends on what you choose to use it for. Obviously, it rings, but you also have the option to access the doorbell at any time and see what's going on through the camera lens. So keep that in mind. Now, with that being said, let's go into the next section. So according to the instructions, the first thing that we're going to do is actually sync the doorbell itself, before we sync the chime. Now, in order to do that, you will have to download the Mubview. Let me show you right here. If you look at this through the application, you can actually find this in the booklet. This is the QR code. I'm going to leave this right here because I'm not sure if you take a picture or pause it will allow you to scan a QR code or not. Let me kind of get that closer for people that want to do that. But even if you can't, that's okay. If you type in Mubview inside the application itself, like the Play Store, it will pop up and you download that. It just makes it easier for the user manual. With that being said, we're going to take this out of the case. And like we talked about before, I'm going to pull this back and we are going to hit on. That is how we're going to do that. This is going to come on. It's going to blink red. Well, it should blink red. Let's give it a moment. That means that it's in sync mode. With that being said, there we go. Actually, let's go ahead and reset it just to be safe. Again, I did have this actually. Okay, there we go. So it's blinking. So that means it's in sync mode. I'm going to go ahead and add device right here. Camera, battery camera, because that's what we have. Actually, a little smart doorbell. Type that one. Yep, smart doorbell is right here. Here we go.
Please follow the instruction manual to power on the device.
All right, already did that. It's powered on. Going to hit next.
Press the bell button and tap next.
Bell button. That's the bell button. Tap next.
Please reset the device by holding the reset button.
Now, even though this says reset for the pen, it walks you through the instructions.
Light to flash red.
We're just going to hold this for about 5 seconds or so before you hear a noise. There we go. That means that it's automatically put in that mode. Just give it a second. It's going to reset itself. I'm going to tap next. There we go. LED flashing. I'm going to tap next.
2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network and enter your password.
All right, so you have to tap your Wi-Fi network, which I would think it would find it itself. Let me double check and do this. I'll see if it can find a network. Matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tap the internet and turn Wi-Fi on so we can find it a lot easier. It's going to find my website, my network. All right. Oh, you see my password. It's all good. I'll change it. By the time this video is done, I'll change that network password. All right.
Tap next to show a QR code.
All right. So tap next. QR code pops up. You're going to turn it this way, and the camera has to face it, and it's going to actually sync to it. There we go. You heard the beep. That's simple. Now that that's done, we're going to hit next, and now it's connecting. There we go. Popped up immediately. That fast, that easy. Very simplistic. Tells you.
Press next to enter network diagnostic.
We don't got to do that. Diagnostic isn't necessary at the moment. I will place this up here. All right, so that's where the camera is placed. Now, of course, when we go to the next section, it's going to be a much bigger picture than this to show you just a wide range of what this guy can actually do. I'm going to go ahead and press done. So I'm going to just leave it as Ian's home, and we're set up. That fast, that simple. Now, with that being said, let's go over to the next section. I'm going to show you how to sync the camera to the actual chime bell. So in order to sync the chime bell, I'm going to show you this first. Then we're going to watch it together. Right here, as you can see, you're going to hit the chime bell. We're going to hit this button once. This guy right here is the actual sync button. Also, if you hold it for 5 seconds, it'll reset the entire thing. Now, with that being said, keep in mind that this does have batteries inside of it. The only way that this will stay charged at all times is if you plug this in to a wall outlet, and then it'll allow you, but it's going to have to be stationary, unfortunately. But again, depending on the type of home you have, realistically, you're going to want the doorbell in one spot anyway. For me, not so much. We move it to different locations depending on who's actually home. Now, with that being said, we're going to tap it. It's going to blink red, and then you're going to hit the doorbell one time. Bam. It is synced. That simple, that easy. You have to sync the doorbell first to the application, and then you sync this with the process I just showed you, which is click the button, this button right here. It'll blink red for a few seconds, and you hit the doorbell. It'll automatically put itself in a pairing mode, and now they're both good to go. So with that being said, the most important part, which you guys want to see, is how does the application actually work itself. So in this section right here, I'm actually going to show you how the application actually works. Now, I am signed into it already. I'm looking at the camera already because you can actually look at a live stream. So what I'm going to do is back out of this and show you how the doorbell section works. So I will be working with my wife. She's in the other room right now with the little Lord Zed helmet on. So we'll talk about it in a second. You can ring the doorbell. All right, I got the doorbell next to me. It's ringing. As you can see, the moment you click on the, well, actually, the moment you get a notification, what happens, this pops up. So I'm going to hit yes, preparing intercom. You got to hit it in a certain amount of time. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so she can hear me just fine. Let me change my voice. Can you hear me now?
Yes, and your voice changed.
What does it sound like?
It sounds like a mouse of some sort.
It's supposed to be a clown. How did this one sound?
Oh. It sounds like me.
Okay, so while we're talking, let me put back on original voice. Because technically this is a video for other people to see. So it's very simplistic and easy to use. What I will suggest is using this preferably with a cell phone. I did have to sync it to my phone, and I had a much better connection than a tablet that I use. I was using a generic tablet. Phones are easier to use. In addition, when the phone rings, it's going to ask you to answer. You're going to want to answer, and then it will prepare the intercom so that you can actually talk through it. So keep that speaker with you. Now, with that being said, it's pretty good so far. I like it. And we're going to talk about another aspect of the actual application itself. So appreciate you answering the phone. Go and hang up now. So you saw the section where I showed you how the doorbell actually answers. Now, for people that are wondering why it's not outside my door, I'm just going to give you a very simplistic reason. For review purposes, it's easier to show you in real time with another person. It really requires two people to do this. If you're too close to each other, it echoes, and I don't want to go through that process of making your ears get damaged during my video. Now, there's also something else I want to show you. If you click this right here, you can see who is sitting in front of your computer. You also have the option to press play right here, which I'm going to do that. See if it pops up. Give it a moment. This is just some of the settings that you see right here. It's experience now. And it shows that nobody's in the room currently. So you can actually remotely access this without someone hitting your doorbell, and you can see if someone's walking past or if someone's inside of your room. Or better yet, remember, this is just a doorbell camera. This company also sells other cameras. So if you have something that's a little bit different, you could change rooms. Now, with that being said, motion detection right here. You can turn that on. I'm going to turn that off because it will let you know every single time someone walks past the room or into the room. So I don't want that to ruin the video. You have the option to take a screenshot right here. You have the option to hit record on the bottom left-hand corner that you see right here. What that does is if someone's standing in front of the camera, it'll actually record what's happening in front of them so you have a physical video. Now, this is what I'm going to say to you guys. Even though it has SD card access, which is very, very useful for storing information, it is better to have a online storage, especially if someone tries to steal the camera. What it will actually do is take a picture of that person trying to manually rip the camera down because it has sensors in it, letting know, like a theft sensor. So it's easier for you to be able to find who it is that has your product. Let's talk about this over here though. So I'm going to go back, leave the live feed. I'm going to close that out. If we go over to me over here, you have family management, which you can have multiple people in the same account. You have an album. Now, I've taken pictures in the past, and this is the actual album itself, and it just shows you different things. You could take it at any time if you want to. So for a person that I want to say if you have smaller children at home, you can see what it is that they're doing. Now granted, this is supposed to be outside of your door as a front door camera, but I'm just showing you the process of how this application works, because it should work the same way for other products, which is a really cool thing. Now in terms of the storage, it does offer, I'm sorry, we put right here, anti-loss, 30-day cycle storage, resolution, enhancement, rate control playback. What you see me having right now is basically just bare bones generic outside the box setup. Obviously, if you actually pay for the service, you'll have a better resolution and you'll have a backup where you can download it to your device if need be and hold on to that information for many, many moons to come, especially if you're ever in a situation you need to prove you're in a particular place at a particular time or someone's by your doorbell. Now right here, this is the price tag. It says $3.99 a month. If you do a yearly plan, let's see if I can pull that up for you guys. Hit next. Yes, yearly is $39 a year, so $40. $3.34 a month technically, or you'll end up paying $3.99 a month, which is not dramatically that different. Some people just want to go to a month-to-month basis, and I totally understand if you don't want to pay the full thing up front, but it is pretty cheap. And it also says how many devices do you want subscribed to the account. So if you do press more than one, unfortunately I only have one device, so I can't tell you how that's going to be, but it's pretty cool. Needless to say, it's pretty cool. Now there are some more options that we need to talk about right here in the settings. You have the option to receive a pop-up whenever someone walks past, like a notification. Make sure you turn that on, especially if you want to see notifications of what's going on. Receive promotional messages. I'm going to leave that off for now. Turn on hardware decoding. That's already on. I'll leave that on. Play video in small window. So it says live broadcast in a small window to view the real-time image of the camera. Now for some people, this will be better for you because if you're doing something on your phone, you'll have a smaller image where it's easier to see. Personally, I'm just going to leave it alone. As long as I see that notification, I'm going to click on the camera immediately, especially if I'm at work or different places. I've already tried this under the same under the same account. So if more than one person signs into the same account, you'll both get that notification. You'll both be able to see what it is. So again, you do have to sign into an email in order to set up services. So make sure it's a mutual email between you and a partner, or depending on your living situation, if you want more than one person to see the actual camera itself. What other features do we have real fast? Family management, pretty self-explanatory if you want to do that. We have share, device share. I'm not going to do that. We have the album. Already shows you what the album does. You have a help desk. Already shows you the settings. There's not much more to this application than that. Now, apparently, you have alarm messages, which you do have motion detection, sharing history. I don't think you really need to do that at the moment. You do have some really cool features that you will have to go through yourself. It's just basically customize it the way that you want the camera to be. Now, with that being said, so far I do like it. So far it does sound pretty good. I don't really have any gripes about it whatsoever. Obviously, it would be nice if it was like 60 frames per second. I'm going to assume that this camera probably has about a 720 1080p camera inside of it, and it probably has about 30 frames per second, which is good enough for a front door cam, where occasionally when you walk past it, sometimes it looks like it's a delay, which is also fine because it is connected to a weak Wi-Fi connection at home. It's only 2.4 gigahertz, and the location of the Wi-Fi isn't very strong in that room. So that's one of the reasons why sometimes the feedback might be a little bit slow or the picture could be choppy. But the faster the internet, the better it is, the stronger the connection. So with that being said, let's go over to the last section. So to answer the question if I think this doorbell is actually a decent doorbell, yes, I do like it. I did simulate waterfall on this by rinsing it underneath a sink. Now, granted, it is IP66. Let me make sure I got that correct. Yep, IP66. So it is weatherproof. But understand that rainwater is a little bit different from just rinsing water from underneath your sink. But I still wanted to simulate after about 5 minutes of just water just drenching on this. Did it actually have water resistance? Yes, it did. It worked very, very well. Used it shortly after. As a matter of fact, here's the funny part. When I did that part of the video where my wife had the helmet on her head, this actually was dripping water off the sides of it, but there was no problems. As long as this section is closed at all times, you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. And if it's facing face down, it's not going to get into the groove hole right here, so you're perfectly fine. I like this a lot. And there is one thing I wanted to go over before I end this video. For the people out there that may have gotten this as a gift or ordered this and don't have their actual instruction manual, I want to show you everything that it comes with right here. So we have the solid flashing light section, devices abnormal, flash red right here, ready for Wi-Fi configuration. I showed you that part when I synced it. When it says flash red, connected to Wi-Fi, shows you that when I synced it. Solid blue means devices online. Flash blue means live feed doorbell cam. You didn't see it only because I did everything in, I'm about to say first person. I did everything in, what's that mode called? A screen recording, so you can see how the application actually runs itself. In addition to that, it says flash blue twice for firmware upgrading. Now, I'm assuming that the firmware can probably upgrade on its own. Through the application, I didn't see anything that said firmware update, but if it is there, I will go over it again for anyone that has any more questions. Again, we have this, it says Mubview offers a free 7-day cloud storage with basic version, or you can insert an SD card. Now again, cloud version is going to be better overall in terms of longevity of holding on to the video itself, because if someone steals the camera and SD card is in it, it's not going to really do you any good. Though the SD card will be recording information, again, it's always good to have a wireless backup, similar to like when your phone, if you lose your phone and you don't have a wireless backup, you're going to lose your memories forever. You don't want to treat your camera the same way. This is an investment, so make sure you do have a backup. I already showed you how to sync it and everything else. It's going to give you these options right here where it shows you how to, basically this is the entire process that we went through that I showed you in real time. But for people that still want to see the book, I do want to give you the pleasure of showing you that. And right here you see where you can set it. Again, I set mine outside of my door, but for video purposes, I actually took it apart and put it into my computer room to show you how it actually is. And in the back here is the tamper button that we talked about. It will actually take a picture of the person that grabbed the camera so you can know exactly who it is. Hopefully they're not wearing a mask. And you know, at the end of the day, I think this is a pretty decent camera. There's not much really to talk about it. The sync process is pretty easy if you follow the instructions, especially in this video. The price tag is a different story. Now, the reason why I got this for free, I actually got it through Mubview. Want to be completely transparent with that if you made it to this part of the video, so I didn't pay for it. Though when I look online, I want to say it's about $80, $89, $79 or so online. And again, I'm not a camera buff in terms of doorbells. When I see something like this and it's sent to me, I like this. This is good enough for me. I am not looking for the newest camera in the world. I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Chris Brown. I'm none of these rich people. I don't need some super camera. This one does the job very, very well. As a matter of fact, it was so clear in my opinion, especially if you have a very clear Wi-Fi connection, because that works with the picture. That looks better than some people's webcams, if we're being completely honest here. And some of your webcams are $100 or more, and it sounds awful and looks awful. So with that being said, I like it. It's pretty good. I don't really have anything else to say about outside of that. There's nothing else really to say. It's a pretty decent product. Might be pricey for some. Sure, there are cheaper cameras out there that this company does sell, but again, I can't put my stamp of approval on those products until I test those out also. But so far, this one is pretty good. I like it. And that's pretty much it. So like and subscribe if you like the video. If you have questions, ask away. I would definitely do little sections for anyone that's interested on certain interaction with this doorbell to see how well it works. The last thing I will say is, in terms of battery life, I didn't see anything that said that this lasted. It didn't give me a actual battery life on how long the camera lasted. I didn't see that in the instruction manual. But what I will say is that when I charged it and had it, I didn't even charge it fully 100%. That's how confident I was in the product, because before I even really did review on this, I looked at other people to see, hey, is there a battery life on this? No one was able to tell me, but they did show me that in the settings of the application, you can see how charged this is at all times. And again, I think it's pretty good. Like, you can't go wrong with this. All you got to do is take it out of the charger every so often, plug it up, charge it up for a couple hours, 6 to 8 hours, put it back into the wall, screw the piece back in the bottom if you need to, and then you're good to go. And you have nothing else to worry about. So I like it. It's a solid product. Like and subscribe like always, guys. And I will see y'all in the next video.